CEO Bear, episode 003, Personal Inventory. In episode 2, we talked about the difference between winning and not losing. And ultimately, winning means having a plan that you can implement and execute on, and losing is being reactive and hoping for the best. If you didn't watch that video, go watch that video, because otherwise this is not going to make sense for you. So part of developing a plan, or part of executing on a plan, is having goals. You have to know what the goal is so you can build a plan around it so that you can implement and therefore achieve. Saw a lot of comments in episode 2 about, I don't even know where to begin to set goals. I don't know how to set goals. I know I want to do stuff, but I don't know what it is that I want to do. So we're going to talk about the personal inventory that I personally use, okay? So for me, setting goals is a result of doing self-check-ins. What do I mean by a self-check-in? A self-check-in for me is I go to lunch, usually at a restaurant, not a super duper expensive restaurant, but at a restaurant. I take myself to lunch, I sit down, I tip the waiter or waitress $20 to leave me the hell alone. And I bust out a sheet of paper, okay? And I start writing bullet points, or numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All the things that are bothering me, all of them. Just a one-liner, one of each. And I puke it out onto paper. Susie isn't cleaning her room. My truck is making a weird noise when I drive it. I feel tired. Bill in accounting is making me anxious because of XYZ. Whatever it is, just puke it all out onto paper. All of it. And that's important so you can get it out where you can see it. You externalize these things that are robbing you of your joy. All right? Step 1, PID. Can't hit a target if we can't identify it, right? So get it out where you can see it. Now, once you have these things written down on this piece of paper, you'll realize that some of these things are just ludicrous. They're just bullshit. I stubbed my toe on the way to work today. Okay, that's not going to matter tomorrow, right? And so when you find those things that are just ludicrous, just cross them off the list immediately. Let it go, man. Let it go. They wrote an entire song about this. Let it go. And what you're going to be left with on this list are things that you can and should execute on. Now, once I have this initial list of all these things that are bothering me, I'll flip the page in the notebook and I'll go to a fresh sheet of paper, and I will go down that list, item by item by item, and write a 3 to 5 sentence paragraph about what I'm going to do about this issue. Not how I feel about it, not what I think somebody else should do about it, not even how I'm going to pray about it. What am I going to do? What am I going to do stuff with my hands? Okay? 3 to 5 sentences. This could be considered a single COA, course of action, for each item, each pain point that I've listed out during this personal inventory. After I have an idea of what I'm going to do about these things, I will then read back through and prioritize number 1, number 2, number 3. Prioritize what I'm going to do, like what order am I going to execute on these things in? What's the most important? I would submit that things that can be handled immediately should be handled immediately. Certain things, like I want to lose weight and get stronger, that doesn't happen overnight. You didn't get fat and weak overnight. You're not going to get strong and fit overnight, right? But you could immediately stop eating garbage. You could implement a diet plan and an exercise plan immediately. You could go get a gym membership today, right? So action items in that COA, that course of action that you write out. And then rank order those things. Number 1, most important, I'm going to do it today. Number 2, number 3, number 4. And if you're overwhelmed, you don't know which one should be most important, there's a couple different ways to go about this. The first is to rank order them in a way that you're doing the easiest ones first. Whatever you can take care of right now, just take care of it. You can do it that way. Another way to do it is to determine which is going to be the most impactful right now and do that. and then do the number 2, the second most impactful, the third most impactful, so forth and so on. Okay, and so while you're doing this, what I call a self-check-in, you're going to realize that there are some goals in here, and those goals inform who you are. All right, we're going to come to who you are in a moment as far as goal setting is concerned. You now have a list of tasks you need to execute on. If you execute on those tasks, you will feel better. You'll be less anxious. You'll probably be more fit. You'll probably quit wasting so much time throughout the day because now you have important things to do rather than sit around and watch America's Got Talent or whatever bullshit people are watching today. Now, how are you going to accomplish these things? Right? You have a certain set of tools in your toolkit. These are your experiences to date, what you know how to do, and then your giftings, your talents, and your delights, which begs the question, who are you? An even more important question, this is between you and the Most High, who did He make you to be? Because if you are somebody other than who He made you to be, you need to do the necessary deep work to become the person that He created rather than the person that the world has turned you into. Different video for a different time, but who are you and what are your giftings, your talents, and your delights? Giftings, talents, delights. Giftings, these are things that you're naturally gifted at. Whether you like to do them or not, you're just gifted at them, right? You have a proclivity for executing in this certain purview. Talents, these are things that you've built capability in over time. Playing piano, skateboarding, skydiving, sewing, shooting, whatever it might be. And delights. Delights are the things that set you on fire. They are the things that you can't breathe unless you do this. I delight in entrepreneurship. I delight in homesteading with my family. I delight in fellowshipping and worshiping with my people, right? They bring me great amount of joy. And so they're 3 separate things, though they might seem similar, your giftings, your talents, and your delights. Okay? First, know thine own self, right? So now, if you know, and it would behoove you during your personal check-in here, taking a personal inventory, to write down your giftings, your talents, and your delights. Because if we look at this very simple Venn diagram over here, Venn diagram being overlapping circles, there's 3 circles that we should be concerned with. What do I know how to do? What do I like to do? And what am I good at? And when those things intersect, that's our sweet spot right there. That's what we should be focusing on. I know how to do a lot of things. I don't like doing a lot of things. For example, I know how to make Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. I'm even good at making Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. I don't like making them. Okay? I like playing guitar, but I'm not very good at it because I don't know a lot about it. So as far as Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, executing on the stuff that's going to have the greatest payoff, playing guitar is not going to be a great goal for me in the immediate because I don't know how to do it and I'm not good at it. Now, it could be a long-term goal, right? In order for me to accomplish that long-term goal, see how this immediately illustrates where you have weaknesses? If playing guitar is a long-term goal of mine, I like doing it, so now I have to work at being capable, being good at it, and knowing how to do it, okay? YouTube videos. I know how to make YouTube videos. I most of the time like making YouTube videos, and I dare say occasionally I'm good at it, right? So sweet spot, thus the Bear Independent channel. And so your giftings, your talents, delights, and then as well as your sweet spot here between know, like, and good at. That matters because you're going to have to execute on these goals. There's 2 types of goals that you're going to identify doing this personal inventory. Again, personal inventory, puke everything that's bothering you onto a piece of paper. Once it's out, write a 3 to 5 sentence course of action, what you're going to do about this thing that's bothering you. Rank order them. If it's just bullshit, cross it out. Don't worry about it. It's done away with. It's super cathartic to cross the bullshit off the list. Okay, then you're left with things you need to focus on. Rank order them either in from greatest to least in importance or from greatest to least in your ability to execute on them in a timely manner. That's up to you. Okay, I immediately, when I look at my list, if there's something that can be done right now, I do it immediately. And then I go to what's the most bang for my buck? What's the greatest impact here? And then I do that. So 2 types of goals. We have reactive from our personal inventory. We are setting these goals in a reactive manner based upon the inputs that we've given ourselves by doing this personal inventory, this self-check-in, okay? And so, for example, a reactive goal might be like, I'm tired of being fat and weak. So the way I'm going to react to that is I'm going to set a goal to go to the gym 4 days a week and to get on a diet and stay on that diet, okay? You also need to know yourself. If you're not in a position to where you can hold yourself accountable, you probably need to find somebody that can hold yourself accountable. You're going to need to pick an exercise program that you like doing, at least for the time being, to get you to build the discipline to be able to do it whether you like it or not. And it has to be something that you're at least moderately good at so that you can start doing it. Otherwise, you're creating barriers to entry. For example, if your discipline program is competitive ice skating, and you don't know shit about competitive ice skating, you've instantly created a barrier to entry. You put a stumbling block in your way, right? So maybe start with walking or jogging or running, right? Hopefully this is making sense. Reactive is based upon your personal inventory, right? Then there's proactive goals. These are your ambitions and your personal development. Proactive is like, 5 years from now, I want to sell my house and buy a bigger house, or I want to get another pickup truck, or I want to have money in the bank for my kids to go to college or vocational school. Or a year from now, I want to be 20 pounds lighter and stronger, right? And proactive, long-term goals. And both of these things are identified, again, by working through your personal inventory of deciding how is it, or what is it that's bothering me, and then what am I going to do about it? And this is why it's really important to get those courses of action down on a piece of paper. And don't self-censor yourself. Puke them out on paper, all right? After identifying your goals, you must develop a plan to implement and execute. And the plan should be simple, super simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. The more complexity you add to a plan, the more points of failure you've introduced into the plan. So, whatever that plan might be. Again, we'll go with weight loss, right? So my plan is I'm going to get on diet X, and I'm going to do diet X, and I'm going to use my buddy Tim as my accountability partner, and I'm going to track in my phone every day what I eat and how much I PT. I'm going to send that to Tim every day. And Tim has permission to get all up in my ass if I don't, and to scream and yell at me and make me feel terrible so that I never do it again, right? By the way, I think that, it's nature. All corrective action in nature is painful, right? Not so painful that you quit, not so painful that you die, but painful enough that it makes you not want to do it again. Like, you ever see a mama dog with puppies? Puppies act up, she nips them and they squeal, right? Kind of like a little spanking, right? So my plan here is Tim is my accountability partner. He's going to hold me accountable, like, for real. And I'm going to get all the trash out of my house as far as food is concerned, and I'm going to eat real food and move my body. And my goal is I want to lose 20 pounds in the next year, so that's 0.4 pounds per week on average that I'm going to need to lose. Cool, and I'm going to do a weigh-in every Friday. That's the plan. All right, so after you've identified the goals, you must develop a plan to implement and execute. So then you just need to execute. You just need to do it. Now, that takes discipline in order to be able to do it. Mike Tyson famously said, "Discipline is doing something you hate to do as if you love it." That's an awesome quote. Discipline is doing something you hate to do as if you love it. And see, that's the point of having these goals, because in the moment, on the tactical level, in the day-to-day, you're probably going to want to quit at some point. It's probably going to get too hard. It's going to be too difficult. It takes too much time. My wife's mad at me. I didn't get good sleep last night. I'm sick. I don't feel good. The dog's got a vet appointment. The kid's got a dentist appointment. My boss is pissed off. Yeah, excuses are lies, quote Jocko Willink. right? You'll find reasons to not do this. But if you have a plan laid out and you begin to develop the discipline so that you can implement and execute that plan, 90 days from now, when you do another personal inventory, you're going to be a different you than you were 90 days ago. I personally do this every 90 days. I also look at one more thing, which I'll put on the board. Every 90 days, I do one of these. Sustain, improve. And I do this in such a way, sustain, improve. I'm looking for three things, three big macro things, macro goals. Three that I'm going to sustain: my relationship with my family, my revenue streams at my business, and my relationship with the Father. How about that? And then improve. What am I going to work on? I'm going to improve my health and wellness. I'm going to improve the amount of time I spend reading every day, and I'm going to improve the quality of time that I spend by myself. Just a little insight into my day. The first hour of the day is mine. I spend an hour with myself every morning before the day has had an opportunity to kick me in the balls, right? But anyway, so sustain, improve, 3X, three things in each column. I do this every 90 days. And the guy I was 90 days ago is a different guy than I am now. And this comes from setting these goals, having the discipline, setting these goals, identifying the goals, developing a plan, then implementing the plan, and then executing on that plan through discipline. Because I understand that the long-term lifetime value of achieving those goals 90 days from now is more important than the short-term dopamine hit I get for capitulating and failing today, right? And then I go back and I look every 90 days, three in each column, sustain and improve, of the things that I need to maintain, sustain, and the things I need to work on, the things I need to improve. And I do this over and over and over and over and over again. And we talked about in the last video that your OODA loop should be an upward spiral. The more you do this, the better you get at it, the more momentum you gain. And see, most people don't understand the concept of momentum. It's super important. The more momentum you gain, which makes it easier and easier and easier for you to achieve your goals. And sooner or later, you realize that your goals become more and more audacious. And that's awesome. That's how you go from building a business in your barn 1 hour per month with $1,000 of your own seed capital bought in 3.5 years ago to now on 4 continents with all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces with 61 lives saved to date in 3.5 years. 3.5 years is what, 14 cycles of this? See what I mean? So it's totally doable, but it's got to start with you doing this self-check-in, taking this personal inventory, because only you know what's bothering you. Only you know what you need to work on. Only you know what you're capable of, what your giftings, talents, and delights are. Only you know what your level of discipline is. So you have to figure this stuff out. You got to lay it out, puke it out on paper, get it out where you can see it, and then ruthlessly cross off any of the bullshit off the list, and then ruthlessly execute on the courses of action that you come up with, knowing your personal context, so that you can be a better you in 90 days from now. Personal Inventory, CEO Bear 003. I hope that this message finds you well. Interested in your comments down below. Bless y'all. Shalom.